Welcome to the Explainer. So, in a world literally overflowing with mass-produced injection-molded plastics, true writing enthusiasts are usually out there hunting for something with a bit more, a bit more soul, you know? Today, we're analyzing a really fascinating primary source, a passionate hobbyist's handwritten review to unpack the PLP Piston Ebonite fountain pen. We're going to explore exactly what elevates this specific tool from just another writing implement to a true collector's instrument. Okay, let's dive right into this with the reviewer's ultimate verdict, which really sets the stage perfectly. This new pen is a beautiful writer and an understated gem. Now, in the highly specialized realm of vintage and fine writing instruments, calling something an understated gem really carries some weight. See, while modern acrylic pens often rely on, translucent sparkle or really flashy, ostentatious designs to catch your eye, this pen's value is all about substance. Ebonite is a material of quiet dignity. It earns that gem status entirely through its performance and the deep heritage of its craftsmanship. Now, what's incredibly cool here is that our entire explainer today is derived directly from this one single, meticulously penned page of notes dated May 5th, 2026. And the best part? Every single observation about this pen's performance was written, fittingly enough, by the very pen being reviewed. It is literally the ultimate proof of performance. Every stroke, every loop on this page is a direct testament to what this instrument can actually do. Section 1. The Physical Craft. Materials and Design. For fountain pen enthusiasts, the physical, tactile presence of an instrument is absolutely paramount. Our reviewer breaks down the design specs, noting a really classic, clean silhouette with a flat top and flat bottom profile. The body itself has this gorgeous green hue with dark swirls. But the artisanal material choice is what really grabs my attention as a vintage specialist. The grip section and the protective cap are crafted from black ebonite. Now, if you're wondering why ebonite is so revered over modern acrylics, it comes down to touch. This traditional, hard vulcanized rubber provides a distinctly warm, almost organic grip. It actually prevents your fingers from slipping during those long writing sessions, giving you a very real physical connection to the heritage of early 20th century penmaking. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is the striking contrast between those traditional materials and modern utility. You'll notice the black ebonite grip section is cleanly separated from that swirly green body by a see-through acrylic window. And hey, this isn't just for looks. It's a very modern engineering touch that lets the writer actually monitor their ink levels. It's a super practical feature that is almost always missing in purely vintage ebonite models. So it just blends form and function beautifully. Section 2. The Engine. Modern Mechanics and the Nib. Here, the reviewer highlights this totally fascinating intersection of old-school craft and modern convenience. This is a handmade Indian pen, but it actually incorporates a sophisticated modern piston filler mechanism. And that's a big deal. Historically, a lot of handmade ebonite pens rely on much simpler, high-capacity systems like eyedroppers. So by integrating an internal piston filling system, this instrument bridges the gap between that traditional artisanal soul on the outside and the everyday turn-the-key reliability of modern engineering on the inside. Of course, any specialist will tell you the true heart of the pen is right at the tip. The notes specifically call out a Conrite 35mm fine point nib. This is the crucial connection point between the writer, the ink, and the page. A 35mm fine point means a really nimble, precise delivery, which honestly perfectly matches the highly legible, detailed handwriting of our source. And, while the notes don't explicitly name the feed material, a classic ebonite body of this caliber typically houses a heat-sensitive ebonite feed. That's a feature that perfectly calibrates and regulates the ink flow right alongside that robust Conrite nib. All right, Section 3, the road test, ink and writing performance. The ultimate test, right? How does the pen actually translate liquid ink into coherent thought? Well, our reviewer paired the pen with Pelikan 4001 dark green ink, or dunkelgrün, which is just a perfect match for that green swirled body. And the verdict is glowing. The flow is described as smooth and continuous. More importantly, the reviewer notes slight and almost no feedback. Now, if you're newer to the hobby, feedback is basically that tactile sensation of the nib interacting with the paper's texture. While some folks actually love the scratchy friction of, say, a graphite pencil, this pen is clearly tuned for an ultra-smooth, skip-free glide across the page. And the visual evidence for that is right here, clearly visible at the bottom of the page. The reviewer actively stress-tested the pen's limits with a series of really fast figure eights, continuous loops, and rapid cross-hatching. Right underneath those tests, you can see the words skip less, no skipping, and no gaps. It is undeniable, visual proof of a perfectly tuned feed and nib working in absolute harmony with that piston mechanism. Section 4. The final verdict, a collector's favorite. At the very end of their documentation, the reviewer elevates this pen to the absolute highest echelon of their collection. They literally write, "This is my favorite along with Jumbo, Dronacharya, and Vellon." Let me tell you, for a dedicated collector, naming a brand new acquisition right alongside your established all-time favorites, that is a massive endorsement. It proves that the PLP Piston Ebonite doesn't just work well on its own, it completely holds its own against the absolute finest instruments this collector owns. And this brilliantly illustrates just how big of a deal that endorsement is. If you look at this impressive array of vibrant, swirling acrylics, those warm ambers and bold reds, our dark, understated PLP Ebonite sits securely right in the middle of that lineup. Surrounded by these highly colorful, demonstrative giants of the collection, the quiet, classic craftsmanship of the PLP earns its place at the top table, and it does it without ever needing to shout for attention. So does the soul of a handmade instrument shine brightest when paired with modern mechanics? We've explored a pen that beautifully marries vintage material with a modern piston engine. But as a specialist, I can't help but ask what this source doesn't tell us. For instance, how will this ebonite oxidize and change color after decades of UV exposure? What are the long-term maintenance requirements for a modern piston housed inside vintage-style hard rubber? The source leaves those questions open, but honestly, for the true hobbyist, discovering how a pen ages alongside you is half the magic of the journey. Think about that the next time you pick up a handcrafted tool. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, keep exploring.